You've got to be kidding me. How does this even happen twice? How does a rising force like Oba Femi walk into Monday Night Raw and not just survive Brock Lesnar, but level him again? This isn't just shocking, this is disrespectful to everything we thought we knew about dominance in WWE. And I need you to be real with me in the comments right now. Is Brock Lesnar losing his aura, or are we witnessing the birth of something even more dangerous? Because what went down on March 23, 2026 wasn't just a highlight, it was a warning. The arena was already buzzing before Brock Lesnar even showed up. You could feel it, that uneasy tension, that something bad is about to happen energy. And when Lesnar's music hit, the entire building shook. Love him or hate him, the beast still commands fear. But here's the thing this time, the fear didn't belong to the locker room. It belonged to Brock Lesnar himself. Let that sink in. Now I want to ask you something. Drop your answer in the comments. When was the last time you saw Brock Lesnar look even slightly uncertain in that ring?
Exactly.
Lesnar marched down to the ring like he always does, focused, cold, ready to destroy. But the moment Oba Femi's music hit, the energy shifted. Not hype, not excitement. Something heavier, something darker. Like everyone realized at once, this wasn't going to be a normal confrontation. Oba Femi didn't rush. He didn't yell. He didn't play to the crowd. He walked out with that same controlled intensity we've been seeing, like a man who already knows the outcome of a fight before it even begins. And Brock saw it. You could see it in his eyes, that slight pause, that microsecond of hesitation. And if you blinked, you missed it. But trust me, it was there. Now here's another quick one for you. Who do you think has more raw power, prime Brock Lesnar or Oba Femi right now? Because what happened next might change your answer forever. Lesnar didn't wait. He charged. Classic beast incarnate. No games. No talking. Just violence. He went straight for a takedown, trying to impose his will early, trying to remind everyone exactly who he is. But Oba Femi didn't budge. Not even an inch. I'm not exaggerating. Brock Lesnar, former UFC champion, former WWE champion, a man who has ragdolled giants, hit Oba Femi with everything in that first collision, and it was like running into a wall.
A wall.
The crowd gasped. And then, Oba Femi pushed him back.
Pushed.
Brock Lesnar, back.
Tell me you saw that. Tell me you felt that shift.
Because in that moment, something cracked. Not physically, mentally. The illusion of invincibility around Lesnar started to fracture. And Oba? He didn't celebrate. He didn't taunt. He just stared at him. Like, now you understand. Let me throw another question your way. Do you think Oba Femi respects Brock Lesnar? Or is he trying to erase him? Because the next sequence was straight up brutal. Lesnar, clearly irritated now, went into full beast mode, knee to the midsection, clubbing blows, German suplex attempt, but Oba blocked it, and then reversed it with a sheer display of strength that had the entire arena losing their minds. He lifted Lesnar. Yes, lifted Lesnar. And slammed him down with authority. Not once, not twice, but with a level of force that made it clear, this wasn't luck. This wasn't a fluke. This was domination. The commentary team was losing it. Fans were on their feet. And Lesnar? He rolled out of the ring, not in strategy and survival. Now pause right there. Answer this honestly in the comments. Should Brock Lesnar have walked away at that moment? Because what came after might have been the biggest mistake of his career. Lesnar doesn't back down.
We all know that.
It's part of what makes him who he is. But sometimes pride gets you hurt. And that's exactly what happened. He got back in the ring. Angry. Aggressive. Desperate to take control. He charged again, this time connecting with a massive clothesline that finally rocked Oba Femi. The crowd erupted. Okay, they thought. Here comes the comeback. But nah, not tonight. Oba absorbed it. And then he smiled. Smiled. That's when things got scary. You don't smile at Brock Lesnar unless you're either insane or you know something he doesn't. Oba grabbed him. Tight grip, no hesitation, and delivered a thunderous spinebuster that shook the ring. You could hear the impact echo. Even the fans in the back rows felt that. Lesnar tried to get up, but Oba wasn't done. He stalked him.
Slow.
calculated, like a predator. And then, boom. Another devastating slam. This one even worse than the first. At this point, the crowd wasn't just cheering. They were in disbelief. Because what they were witnessing didn't make sense. This is Brock Lesnar. And he's getting destroyed. Let me ask you this. Is this the biggest upset in Raw history? Or is it the beginning of a new era? Because Oba Femi didn't stop there. Lesnar, barely on his feet, tried one last desperate move, a wild swing, maybe even a last-ditch F5 attempt, but Oba countered it.
Clean.
Effortless. Almost disrespectfully easy. And then came the moment everyone is still talking about. Oba Femi lifted Brock Lesnar high, held him there, let the crowd register what they were seeing, and then dropped him with a finishing move so brutal, so decisive, that even the commentators went silent for a second. That silence? That's when you know history just happened. Brock Lesnar was laid out.
Flat.
Not moving. Again. And Oba Femi stood over him, not celebrating, not yelling, just breathing, staring, owning the moment like it was always his. Tell me right now, what were you thinking when you saw Brock Lesnar down like that? Because social media exploded. Fans were divided. Some were calling it the end of Lesnar's dominance. Others were saying Oba Femi just became the most dangerous man in WWE overnight. And honestly, both might be true. But let's talk about the bigger picture. This isn't just about one match. This is about momentum, power, legacy. Oba Femi has now done something that very few superstars in history can claim. He didn't just beat Brock Lesnar, he made it look convincing.
Twice.
That's not luck. That's not timing. That's a statement. And here's a question I really want you to think about. If Oba Femi can dominate Brock Lesnar like this, who in WWE can actually stop him? Roman Reigns? Gunther? Cody Rhodes? Or is Oba Femi about to run through the entire roster like a force of nature? Because right now, it feels like we're watching the rise of something unstoppable. But don't count Brock Lesnar out just yet. If there's one thing we know about the Beast, it's that he doesn't stay down. And after being humiliated like this, not once but twice, you better believe he's coming back with something to prove. The question is, will it be enough? Drop this in the comments. If there's a third match between Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar, who wins? Because that's where this is heading. You can feel it. The tension isn't over. The story isn't finished. If anything, it just got personal. Lesnar's pride has been shattered. Brock snapped. He grabbed one of the steel steps at ringside and launched it. Not at Oba. Not at anyone in particular. Just pure rage. Uncontrolled. Explosive. That's not the Brock Lesnar we're used to seeing. That's a man who just had his reality shaken. So, here's the big question I need you to answer in the comments. Is this the beginning of Brock Lesnar's downfall, or the start of his most dangerous comeback ever? Because it can go both ways. We've seen legends fall after moments like this. But we've also seen Brock Lesnar come back and absolutely destroy everything in his path when he feels disrespected. And right now, disrespected doesn't even begin to describe it. Meanwhile, Oba Femi, he didn't say a word backstage. No interview. No celebration. Nothing. Just walked straight through gorilla position like this was another day at the office. That silence? That speaks volumes. Because while everyone else is reacting, he's already focused on what's next. And that should worry the entire locker room. Think about it. If Oba Femi can dismantle Brock Lesnar like this, twice, what happens when he sets his sights on a championship? What happens when he decides it's time to stop making statements and start taking titles? Let me throw this at you. Should Oba Femi be the next in line for a world title shot after this? Because at this point, it's hard to argue against it. He's not just winning. He's redefining what dominance looks like. And WWE knows it. You can see it in how they presented this entire segment. This wasn't random. This wasn't just for shock value. This was intentional. Calculated. A clear message that a new force has arrived, and he's not here to coexist. He's here to take over. But here's where things get really interesting. Because Brock Lesnar isn't the only one watching. You know the locker room saw this. Roman Reigns saw this. Gunther saw this. Cody Rhodes saw this. And every single one of them had the same thought. What happens if I'm next? That's how shifts in power work in WWE. It's not just about one man rising, it's about everyone else realizing they might fall. So now the landscape has changed.
Completely.
And whether you like it or not, Oba Femi is at the center of it. But don't get it twisted, this story isn't over. Not even close. Because Brock Lesnar doesn't walk away from losses like this. He hunts. He adapts. He destroys. And if history tells us anything, it's that the next time we see him, he's not coming for a match. He's coming for revenge. So get ready. Because when these two collide again, it won't just be about dominance. It'll be about pride, legacy, and survival. Final question, and I want everyone to answer this in the comments. If Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar happens one more time, no interruptions, no excuses, who walks out as the true monster of WWE? Because after what we just witnessed, there might only be room for one.